I want us to turn our attention to Colorado. You know, this has been an interesting thing. Right now, of course, the government shutdown ends, but before that, we had a lot of people who were dealing with, and of course, they're still, I'm sure, dealing with it. We're having to get everything reopened with the food crisis that was happening. Of course, people that needed special services, need SNAP benefits, those kind of things. And of course, as Christians, we are called to obviously feed the hungry as well. 4 church members, again, this is in Colorado City, who were criminally cited in this park. Why? For feeding the hungry. Feeding the needy. They've been doing it for years. Before the police shut the whole thing down, they said, you know what? You can't be here. You can't be feeding the hungry. The city has tried to make this about, whether there's too many people in it. We're going to talk about that. Let's break this down, Will, because we are not going to stand for this.
That's right. So this is a gathering that would take place on Tuesday and Thursday in a public park. And it was 3 different churches that would be a part of this. And they would gather, they would have worship, they would share the gospel, they would feed the hungry. It was an outreach program. This is not something, this foreign concept in America of a church worshiping God and helping those in their community.
And I know what they're called to do.
Exactly. And they've been doing this for years and had never had complaints or an issue. But the city in Colorado decided that they did all of a sudden have an issue with it 4 years after they started this. And so they passed a city resolution to limit the amount of people that can be a part of a recurring use at an outdoor pavilion or public space. This also isn't something where they were owning the space and no one could ever use it, but they did this specifically because they knew that they could shut these church groups down. You had police coming, citing them, telling them they have to shut this down. They were even asking how many people here are a member of your church, trying to separate basically how many people are being reached from this, the people that are coming here that are hungry, and many are homeless, and those that are a membership of the church. So this is a case of discrimination, clear and cut. It's a violation of the First Amendment rights of our clients, because at the same time, there's even a senior fitness program that meets regularly, sometimes 3 days in a row at this pavilion, that is outside the number of participants limit that they put on. No issue there. This was specifically the city trying to target this church and shut it down because they were doing God's work in this community, Jordan, and we're filing a lawsuit because of it.
I mean, the fact that, again, during these shutdowns, people, they say, step up, help your neighbors. And this is a church who does it all the time, not just when there's a shutdown. They always want to help their neighbors. And you never know, you don't know if 5 people are going to show up, 20 people are going to show up. But we have these kind of like parking lot, public park settings so that if the bad action they're taking is there's too many people picking up food because their kids are hungry and they're hungry. And this is where the city focuses on because they have this much dislike of Christians actually carrying out the true mission of Christ. Helping the needy. I mean, think about that.
No, it's absurd.
If this was a liberal group, by the way, of a bunch of people dressed up in weird outfits and uniforms, do you think this would happen to them?
No, and look, we know from some of our friends who are even right now gearing up for the Thanksgiving events that are being held where you're giving out turkeys and that kind of thing, and they're seeing the demand rise significantly this year because obviously there was a lot of concern. We talked about that. I'm sure this is what happens when you have these kind of issues. More people show up than ever before because people start looking, where can I find food? Where can I find food affordable? Look, I brought it up the other day, and it's one of those shocking ones. That's Cece's Pizza. I said, Cece's Pizza decided we're going to do a promotion where it's $2 for a buffet.
Where's the closest one?
Close one to us? Yeah. Pretty close. I may have taken my kids there before recently.
$2.
$2, pretty good. No, they cut it off because hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands signed up for this. That is not a sign that people are just dying to eat Cece's Pizza. No offense to Cece's Pizza. I like it. I'm a fan. What I'm saying is what that shows is there's a lot of people searching for ways to get food right now, and they're in need. And they're looking for the best deal or free possible. So when a lot more people show up to a public park, what Jordan said is right. You should be celebrating that they're showing up and talking to people in the church and in the community instead of now you are criminally charging them. Right.
Criminally charging them. Not just saying disperse, not just saying here's how you get the permit, which, by the way, they'd probably deny. If they really think that they need a permit, what they should have done to them is come to them and say, you're doing a great thing. Keep feeding the needy. Just fill this out.
Here's the process.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
not criminal charges. If you feed people who are hungry.
So what do we do now? What happens here? We
We
take it to court?
represent, we sue.
We are preparing a federal lawsuit to challenge this ordinance and what the city's actions have been.
Is you suing the city?
yes,
Is that
we're
what it
going
is?
As of right now, they have paused enforcement, but they still have these active citations against this church. We're going to fight for their First Amendment rights, as well as I think it goes to a deeper problem that we've talked about, and we've talked about what comes out of these shutdowns, where as soon as the government's not able to provide, then many people are like, oh, we should be helping the needy. But it's groups like this that do it all the time.
And
that is a
5
very
or more.
conservative, amazing work that they're doing, and yet the city wants to shut it down because it's not the government taking care of the people, it's the Christians.
This is why you have to support the work of the ACLJ. It's so critical right now, because I want you to think about this, especially our grand champions out there and the grandparents out there. Logan and I both have 3 kids. So if both of our families got together, we'd be violating this order
It'd be criminally charged.
by 5. I mean, double what you need for the permit. If our parents
parents
came,
are up.
you're at 12.
No, no.
If then maybe you brought another family
Special
member.
friend.
What is this? Doesn't make public parks. I mean, the idea again. I know if you're going to take over the park,
Sure.
or you need the whole pavilion for yourself for
Yeah, you have it for a
multiple
party,
hours.
you
But
kind
if
of
you're
thing.
just handing out food kind of quickly as people come, and we do it during these hours, this time of week,
Like I
you
said,
think the city would say thank you?
even
Here's
if-
some more food to hand out.
Even if they did something incorrectly, there are ways to handle
yes.
this that doesn't involve
They could
criminally charging
permitted
them.
them right there.
Yeah, or said, hey, here's the process. Let's work on this so in the next week
We'll
you'll be
do it, and I
fine.
even do it. Help you with it.
Right,
because
help you with it.
You're helping people that are in need.
But of course not.
No,
Well, and
because
one
the
of the
left only wants the government providing.
One
they
of
want
the
people
quotes here.
needing SNAP. They don't want you relying on your neighbor, your community, your neighbor. They say, oh, it takes a village. No. To them, it takes a bureaucracy. It takes a government. It doesn't take the church. And when the church does step up and do what we've been told to do, and usually the churches don't make a big deal about this
they've
at
been doing it
all.
forever, yeah.
Many of you might go to a church and never even heard about all of the different soup kitchen programs they are funding 100% of and running with their own volunteers. That happens at churches all over, but the left doesn't want that. They want people reliant only on the government.
And just take this quote as we leave here. After doing it for 4 years, the pastors were informed by the chief of police that he had been, quote, tasked with shutting down their weekly gatherings. Once again, the city could have done a lot of things, but this was discrimination against them because of their work and because it was religious
We've
based.
got